and it's almost like what you're working with is more about the kind of intellectual, emotional journey through that you have traveled. How can we kind of follow that logic? When do things grow and when do they get smaller? When is it easy for us, a little, the waves on the sea? When is it crashing in on us? When is it pulling out? When do we follow something? When do we lead something? And how do we kind of follow through that? And I think that I look forward to that, but I also want to make sure that that happens because I don't want it to be too stressful for anybody. Not least to yourself, your absolute center and the whole universe almost. That's how it looks to me, both digital and kind of physical universe. And what I guess is that is it because the work you're working with and the way you're looking at things, for example, is incredibly rich, but also a kind of quite mysterious view. How do you, if that is the case, then you're still you're the what is it called when you do climbing, it's the Sherpa, something like that. The person showing people through this landscape. You are in control of that. The same amount of material can have different inroads, different ways. Are we talking about, a more architectural, urban? Are we talking about society? Are we talking about personal, personal things? Can a viewer kind of almost decide which entrance to take into this?
Okay.
And you can kind of guide them through from different angles. I'm just thinking then it means that we can see the work.
Yeah.
The links between work can have different meanings and also different through maybe a number of ways of approaching it. Because for me, it feels so, how you're working feels so three-dimensional in a way, even though we right now look at the screen, but it feels like it's so many ways you're thinking about what you're working with. Yeah. So actually, the kind of way through it can be seen. You can enter from a lot of points. That was number one, and it's not a question. You don't have to answer. I mean, you can answer if you want, but it's not a question that I expect an answer on. But it's just a thought in how you might want to structure this, because it won't be linear. That's the thing. You are not a linear thinking person, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But it means that it's hard for you to decide what's the start and what's the end. Difficult to talk to your teacher, or you might say things, you use different words and so on with friends and so on. But it's not only that. I kind of think that it might be also that your way of using language maybe is very, very very intrinsic to you. And I don't know how much freer you feel talking Chinese rather than English. I don't know how different you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know as a Swedish, I have a Swedish that is quite different from my English.
Yeah.
Suddenly I have humor, which I don't have in English, apparently, because Swedes don't have humor, the English do, so I don't have that. And it's a lot of things, and I also have cultural references and ways of working with words that I still, after being here 30 years, I still can't use my English in the way I use my Swedish. But part of that is not knowing the words, and part of that is kind of you embed a new character. It's not a pretend thing at all. I don't think about it, but I know that I'm kind of getting stuck. Certain nuances in myself feels that they are so old. They are since I was a child. So they haven't kind of, when I came over here, I was 30 years old when I came over here, or 29. When I came over here and I started, so that was exactly 30 years ago. So I've been half my life now here, because I'm 60, so literally half my life the other day. And it's still, I'm still more kind of fluent in Swedish than in English. But as I said, part of it is also my way of thinking. You know, literally I would express myself, certain things overlap very much between my Swedish version of how I say things and my English. How? Because I don't think nobody can resolve me, and I'm quite a straightforward guy. Nobody can resolve you, not even you, I don't think.
Yeah.
I suddenly feel, whoa, I can't feel the pattern any longer. It's not even about knowing exactly what happens there. I can read the letters, or I can see the drawings, or I can see the 3D things, whatever they are, but I can't see the connection really any longer. It kind of, they all run off a bit, and the pattern disappears, and I feel I'm doing this, this, and it's all, of course I'm doing it because I have a kind of drive in me, a kind of creative drive or intellectual drive to get attracted to something and interested. That's no problem, and it becomes an output, fine, but I can't see the overall pattern. I lose the sense of why are these things existing together? Why do they exist? You know, because it's a million billion things we can do. It never ends what we can do. And I get and that's for me. I need to kind of step back, and do it very simply. In my case,
but what is the limit of you step back? You know.
Yeah.
In fact,
Well, it's not stepping away, but it's stepping back to, instead of everything being like this around me, I start to step back a bit. So I kind of, beginning, end, or this way or that way. I start to get perspective in English. I start to kind of see the whole, even if they don't make sense really yet. At least I can see them in the same field of vision. I don't have to kind of sit like this to see everything all the time. I have to just kind of frame it somehow and start to say important, less important one there, for you to find where you want to put pressure, where you invest things, which things do you let grow, which things do you say, okay, you can sleep, little babies, I see you another time, you come back again. They're all there, they're all invested, they all exist, but do they really talk to each other? Do they support you in growing a focus, or do they attract you in different directions?